Good morning to everyone. So this is Dr. Kausar Unnisa, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce and Management, Government First Grade College, KGF. So in the last session, we have come across regarding to the industrial research marketing, its scope and its importance. So in this session, we have discussion on the process of industrial marketing research. So we go in industrial marketing research process. We are having 5 stages. We'll go one by one here. So the first stage or the first step of industrial research marketing is nothing but the problem definition or defining the problem. Perhaps this is one of the most important step in the marketing research process, that to define the goals of the project. And this is the starting point in the marketing research. Invariably, in any enterprise, there are several marketing issues that may require for having an examination where every decision has to make and perceives the information which are most important. And the first step of this marketing research process is nothing but to identify the marketing problem or the opportunities accurately and to define the objectives of the marketing research. So, by understanding the business problem clearly, we must be able to keep the research focused and it should be more effective. At this point in the process, we should be well aware that what should be conducted and what perfect of the final research report has to be prepared. And in this case, we must have the imagination that how our research has to undergo and what type of information that are required to collect among the various alternative resources. The objectives, what we have been set right, how it can be accomplished, that has to be studied in case of the research, the problem defining the things. Because in problem defining, it should be more important to be a specific things and it has to avoid the most ambiguities and we have to generalize the information. We should be very careful that the information when we are going to be collected, it should not, the problem should not be too narrow. I feel that what we are going to select to design the problem to the researcher, it should not affect for the creativity of the research. So the first thing is that in the case of industrial marketing research process, they have to define what is the problem, actual problem, that they have to get the solutions for that. And the next stage is nothing but the research design has to be developed. So in this case of this research design, so once the problem is defined, the next logical step is that what the researcher wants to achieve. This statement is nothing but regarding the objectives. So the industrial marketing researcher or the marketing research agency has to develop the research design, which basically indicates the procedure and the cost of conducting the research study. So once the problem has been defined, the objectives have to be set right there, because the researchers has to give more attention towards the objectives which are more specific and that can be measurable. The purpose of these objectives is going to act as a guide, the researcher, which is going to help in maintaining a thorough focus on the research. So when we are going to design this research, so we should know that what type of research that we can able to adopt for the conduct of the study. Can be able to go for exploratory research, or it may be of descriptive research can be able to have for a accomplishment of the things or for solving our problems, or we can go for casual research. What is this exploratory research means? Here, this is a kind of research which is going to be conducted when the researcher doesn't know how and why the certain phenomena is going to be occur. For example, how does the consumer is going to evaluate the quality of a bank or the quality of a hotel? So like that. So that is called as he has to explore the things. And this kind of research is an unstructured form of research where they are going to focus for the group of people, they are going to interview to the customers, and the experts will be and the experts information which has been in a published form. The techniques can also be considered in case of exploratory research. So when the problem has been defined, so the researcher has to analyze what type of research he has to undergo. If he is going to select for the descriptive research, means this descriptive research is being conducted for what type of the things means the research is carried out to describe a phenomena or the market characteristics. For example, when we are going to have a study to understand the buyer behavior and it is going to describe the characteristics of the target market. So the example is relating to the service quality, that the how consumers are going to evaluate the quality of competing the service institutions in case of descriptive. And in case of the descriptive research, the goal of the marketing research is to measure the specific topics which are being in the form of a quantitative way. The surveys are being conducted to collect the results. And the third type of research is nothing but the casual type of research. The most specific type of research is the casual research, which usually comes in case of the test when we are going to do in the fields or the experiments when we are going to be conducted. And this kind of research is done to establish a cause and effect relationship. That is called as the casual type of research. So in case of the research design developed, so when the problem has been identified by the researcher, then he has to think that in which method he can able to have the process of research can be undertaken. Either he can go for exploratory research or descriptive research, or he can go for the casual type of research. That has to be happen in the case of second stage. The third stage is nothing but the data collection. So in case of data collection or nothing but collection of the data, so the data collection in the marketing research is a detailed process where we have to have a sufficient plans for collecting the relevant data by the researcher. So once the research design has been decided, then we should go for collecting the data. The data can be collected in two form of sources. One is primary data, second one is the secondary data. Primary data means it is the data which is collected first time for the purpose of the study, which has not been already collected by some other people in the previous case, but it is the first time of collection of the data, and it is collected for addressing the problem. That is nothing but, so we call it as the original data. And this data has to be, can be collected directly from the marketplace or from the customers or by the traders or by the suppliers. These are the major sources where we can able to collect the primary data, because they are often reliable data sources which are helping to overcome the limitations. Or the problem in case of primary data is nothing but the cost. It is most cost incurrence can be seen in terms of money as well as in terms of time. That is called as primary data. And also we can able to have the collection of data through by the secondary source. So the secondary data means the data which has been already collected by somebody else, which is readily available to have the measurement for some kind of research. The information which has already been collected earlier by someone else. So this kind of data will be available in the form of published reports, or in the form of news, or any journals, magazines, or any sales reports, or the documents like invoices, right? So these are all the data which has been already collected, right? They are called as the secondary data. And the next, how the data collection can be done means, the procedure for the collection of the data can be having by following some techniques we can able to do. So one is the data collection techniques will be through by observation method, or we can able to have the collection or by experimentation. Observation means this technique is going to involve observing how a customer is going to behave in the shopping area, or how or she can able to have the dress up, or what type of customers when he is going to see the product. That is through by his observation. And the next one is called as the experimentation. This is a technique that involves experimenting new product ideas, the advertising copies, or the campaigns, the sales promotion ideas, and the distribution strategies with the target customer group. These experiments can be conducted in an uncontrolled environment with a simulated marketing environment. So that is the way how we can able to have the collection of the data, the tools and techniques where we can able to adopt. And what are the methods of this data collection means, one is qualitative research method. We can able to have the data collection. Another one is the quantitative research. What is this qualitative research method means? Generally, this type of research is going to undertaken to develop an initial way of making to know or to understand the problem. And it is going to be used as an inductive method where the data is relevant to some topics are collected and grouped in an appropriated categories. The qualitative data comes in a variety of forms, like through by the interviews, or the documents, or diaries, or the things when we are going to have the observation. They are called as the qualitative research method. Next one is the quantitative research method. It is nothing but the quantitative research is going to quantify the data, the numbers. We can able to have the measurement in our collection. It can be done through by survey method or through by the observation method. And the next type of next stage is nothing but the fourth stage, that is called as data analysis, or nothing but it has to analyze the data. So after collection of the data has been taken place for our research, the next stage is that we have to analyze the data, because it is very important to understand the raw data which has no usage until and unless it has been analyzed with the help of analytical tools or appropriated tools. Because the statistical analysis, we can able to have the measurement through by the mean, median, percentages, or through by standard deviations, or by the variations. The data has to be analyzed. Whatever the data we have been collected through by the means of different sources, it has to be analyzed to have the proper presentation. And the last stage is nothing but the report presentation. This is the last stage where the writing out of the report has to be taken place, with the presentation to the decision maker. So it is very important that the report has should be a good summary, should have an executive summary, right? This is because that most of the senior managers have a little time to have an in-depth study of the research. So the executive summary, when they are going to have the preparation, they have to concentrate only on the specific issues which has going to be turning out to the relevant sections of the things. Because the data, whenever we are going to be collected, it has to go for having the results has to communicate for presenting or for preparing the report. So in the case of report presentation, we have to analyze in a very clearly or in a chronological manner. The report should be first. Let us we have to give a brief description regarding to the actual information, the problem which has been arised in the case of industrial marketing research. The second one is that the findings or the survey findings, how we have been done, the research design, in which method we have been collected or how the data has been collected, in which way the data has been collected. And the next one is nothing but interpretation of the research findings has to be, the analysis of the data has to be taken up here. So in a very clear manner, in a very accurate manner, right? The data has to be analyzed in a proper manner so that it is possible to have the policy implications. So it becomes very easy. So when we are going to interpret the things, means interpretation should be conducted not only by the research but also by the marketing manager, right? So information has no value unless it assists the managers to have a better decision making. So the report, when we are going to provide, it must have a clear cut information to have to take up the decisions for a specific type of problems. That is going to be seen in the case of stage 5, that is called as a report presentation. So let us, these are the 5 stages which we have come across in case of industrial marketing research process. The first one is defining the problem. The second is we have to design the research, under which design the problem has to be undergone, or the problem has to have a clear-cut study. Then how the data has to be collected. After collection of the data, how it has to be analyzed, either through by percentages or through by averages, right? At last, we have to go for presenting the report. So we know that marketing research is the way where it is going to help for the management by providing a very good information, the accurate information, because we know that nowadays as the market itself is the customer oriented market, the modern marketing. So the demands, the taste, fashions, preferences, attitude, whatever is there, it has to be satisfied by the manufacturer. That is the main thing. So the quantitative analysis is very easy nowadays, but the qualitative aspect also has to be considered, because it becomes very difficult for the manufacturer in case of industrial marketing research. So with this, we are going to end this session. So thank you.